honest, when he tells his story, I sit there and I'm like, yeah, man. If I was in Jedi school and all of a sudden my uncle, I woke up in the middle of the night to him about to fucking murder me, yeah, I'd be pretty pissed off too. That's, I mean, I feel for you, man. I really do. You did what you had to do. Now, the whole murdering children, which seems to be the Star Wars go-to to make a bad guy, I don't really understand why he had to slaughter everybody and leave the Jedi Academy, which I'm assuming is the Knights of Ren. Luke says he left with a couple students of his, and I believe that's who that is. We get absolutely no mention of the Knights of Ren in this entire film. Yes, I know, that huge plot point that in the previous movie Snoke goes out of his way to kind of chastise him and the mighty leader of the Knights of Ren. Like, oh, sweet, this is awesome. We've never seen a group of Darkseid users. This is going to be kick-ass. Well, we don't get anything. It seems like it's a plot point that JJ wanted to set up, and moving forward, Ryan and Lucasfilm was just like, well, that was more of a JJ thing. We don't really have to address this. So, fuck it. Piggybacking off of that, another great scene that I loved was the battle with the Praetorian Guards with Rey and Kylo. It was the closest thing we came to a lightsaber battle in this movie. Yes, people, this is the first Star Wars movie ever, aside from Rogue One, that did not have a lightsaber battle. It didn't. Not at all. They used lightsabers and clashed against Snoke's guards, which Snoke, I'll get to him in a minute, but it was a pretty beautiful scene. It was super kick-ass. The ending part where, Ben! And she throws the lightsaber and he does the quick little double tap and turns it on and blows through that dude's head. Super killer. And I think a part of that is because I personally love Kylo. If Rey did that, it would have been like, oh, what? But with Kylo, it's fitting, and apparently Rey is a master swordsman. She's never really fought anybody with a lightsaber. This movie takes place immediately after The Force Awakens, and somehow over these few days, she's turned into a prodigy. She can hold off the elite Praetorian Guards, who are the top of the food chain as far as protecting Snoke. They are his bodyguards, and they get bested by 2 amateurs. They didn't use the Force at all, so it's not like you could use that in as excuse, why Kylo was doing so much damage. But in that scene, Kylo did pretty much all the heavy lifting anyways. I believe there were 8 guards. We see Rey take out maybe like 2, possibly 3. But Kylo is just going ham. He's attacking everybody, left, right, taking on 2, 3, 4 dudes at a time. It was a cool sequence, I'm not gonna lie. And especially after what they did to Snoke previously, that was a pretty climactic scene. I can't even really hate on it too much. Now, I don't think it should have been the zenith as far as excitement goes in this movie, but it was a well done scene. I liked it. And I guess it's the best that we got in this movie. Excuse me. Other things that I like, the Holdo scene where she jumps to light speed. Now, this is kind of a good and a bad. I'll jump to it later and when I get into the bad, but as far as visually, that whole jump to light speed, split Snoke's ship in half, it was one of the most beautiful scenes I've seen in cinema. When they cut out the sound and went completely silent, you see it flash through, cut through the ships, and then the sound all comes back. That was really well done. I just wish that they put more time, effort, and care into the script and paying attention to, I don't want to say what the fans want because that usually doesn't matter. Look what happens to DC when they do that. But just paying attention to everything that's been set up in the past. I thought Leia was awesome. Now, this is excluding the Mary Poppins in space scene, which was one of the most distasteful things I've probably ever seen. It was just dumb, and we got idiots online talking about, oh, well, Leia's Force sensitive, and we just wanted to see her use the Force, and it's awesome that we got to see it, man. We knew it was always there. No. we knew she was Force sensitive. She showed that she has a bond with Luke, and they can kind of, use the Force to walkie-talkie each other. That's it. All of a sudden, she turns on God mode after the bridge of her ship gets attacked, blows everybody out into the vacuum of space. They zoom in on Leia floating through space. You see the ice crystals start to form on her, and it was a really beautiful scene. I was like, oh my god, this is how they're gonna do it? This is how they're gonna kill off Princess Leia? But then, all of a sudden, we see her fingers starting to wiggle. She opens her eyes, which I know that physics has never been a part of Star Wars, but they have established that the vacuum of space does actually mean something in Star Wars. And after she opens her eyes, she straight Superman / Mary Poppinses back to the ship. Now it's hard to tell the distance, but I would guess maybe 100 feet. She just sticks her arm out and just starts floating back to the ship, to which everybody on the ship then opens the door to space and brings Leia in. Nobody gets sucked out, nothing explodes, everyth's cool. They bring her in, she's in a coma, they put her in a little healing capsule. That was atrocious, and my entire theater started busting out laughing. And it was definitely not a scene where people would start to laugh. It was not meant to be that. Aside from that scene, I liked Leia though. They made her more integrated in the story. She's General Organa now. She wasn't taking shit from Poe or anybody else. She was leading the Resistance. And it's one of the best portrayals of Princess Leia we've seen since the OT. And even superior to some of the moments in the OT. It was a different side of Leia. She's always been the politician, but you see her really using the experiences of her life to lead this group of rebel fighters, and I just thought it was awesome. The Force bond between Kylo and Rey was interesting. This is another made-up Force power out of nowhere, and hey, I'm all about expanding what the Force can do, and the Star Wars lore, and new Force powers. As I mentioned with Kylo, I loved his new Force powers, so hey, you know what? You threw something new in there. We then find out that Snoke is the one that manipulated it. Kylo says to Rey, he's like, you're not strong enough to be doing this. I don't know what's going on. But that led to some interesting scenes. Rey and Kylo kind of bouncing off each other, playing that relationship. Not like a romantic relationship, but you see them growing together. And it makes more sense as to why Rey wants to try and save him in the end. It was believable. I bought it. I don't know why we had to see Kylo with the shirt off in one scene, and it was just weird that way that some of the scenes went. But as a whole, I thought it was pretty well done. It was cool. It was something new. Hey, that's what we've been waiting for the entire time. So I'm not going to complain about that. And that concludes my list of good things about the movie. Now, for running time purposes, I'm going to split this up into 2 videos. I know most people see, this is going to be a long one, so they see a 30, 35-minute video. Oh, fuck that, I'm not watching that. Split it up into a couple parts, the good and the bad. Makes it easier for everybody. So, I'm going to link this to part 2, and that's where we're going to discuss all the terrible things about this movie. So, hop on over there. Can't wait to hear from you.